Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Welcome to hour number 2 of the line, Talk 99.5. Here we go. Here we go. By the way, John Bird went by work trucks yesterday, got the car checked out.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Some minor problems. There's a belt that needs to be replaced. A little bit of an oil leak, which comes with, it's got 140,000 miles on it, which is not bad for an '07.
What'd they say about the leak? Where's it
Um,
coming from?
Well, they don't know yet because I haven't dropped it off with them. And then the AC doesn't work, so they think they saw where the AC leak is.
Now, that's good if it's a leak
Yeah.
versus having to replace a compressor or condenser.
Yeah, they think it's probably a leak, so it's got no Freon in it. The fans are working and all that. Belt needs to be replaced, and front brake pad soon. And what else? The code reader only gave a code for a knock sensor, so that's got to be replaced. But those are all, simple issues.
Yeah, I mean, and the oil leak could be something small, just replacing
Yeah, I don't think it's anything crazy. I told him, I was like, just check it every day, and after a few days, if you don't see the levels changing, do it every 3 or 4 days and just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, just keep an eye on it. Yeah, I mean, one thing that my granddaddy always used to do that helped out with the oil leak is you put sawdust in the engine.
What?
And that really helps it from leaking. It absorbs the oil and keeps it from leaking out.
Wait, you put sawdust in the engine?
Yeah, that's what my grandpa did.
Really?
No, not really.
That sounds like a really bad idea.
But he would threaten to do it. He was not a mechanic at all.
Yeah.
And he would kick his cars. And, I mean, my grandpa would be like 110 now. So when he had a car, he had like a Model A.
Would he get really frustrated and take it out on the cars?
Yeah, much like me.
Okay.
Later.
I'm wondering if that's where you got it
it skipped
from.
a generation. My dad was good.
Yeah.
He didn't do that. But my grandpa one time bought a used Model A, and he never could get the thing cranked.
Mm.
And
what do you say cranked? Is that how you crank a Model A?
mm-hmm.
You have to literally crank it.
Yeah.
Like a toy car.
Yeah. I believe it's the A. It's the A or the T. I think the T was later. But he couldn't get it going, so he got his two sons, my two uncles, to help him push it out in the woods and left it. And there's not much left of it today, but it sat there.
It's still there today?
It's still there today.
Dang.
I mean, it's not in a. We used to play in it when we were kids, and we always get a whipping if I found out you were at the old car. Because it's all rusty and everything. But now it's.
Why? Because it was dangerous? You would get hurt?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, he did this in like 1934, 35.
And he just pushed it out in the woods.
I mean, my grandpa had a temper on him.
That seems crazy. I would imagine back in the 30s, like people were struggling to get by. You'd want to hang on to every single little possession that you had. Maybe try to sell it.
Well, he had a dairy farm, and he also planted crops. He had a lot of land. So during the Great Depression, as bad as it was for my dad, it was much, much, much better from my mom's side of the family with my granddad because they had meat. They had vegetables.
So they had it made.
Yeah, and they had a well dug, so they had, pretty much everything they needed.
That's fascinating.
It is.
God, wouldn't it be cool to just go back and see, like, just watch, how people operated back then?
I don't think so. I would be scared.
I would be
too. I think it would smell very bad back then.
It would smell bad, and there's a lot of and this is what we can't deal with today, a lot of downtime, such as a lot of time alone with your own thoughts, and a lot of, like boredom wasn't a thing back then.
No.
There was no such thing as even if you didn't have anything to do, like boredom was not a thing, and we require constant stimulation now that we wouldn't be able to handle it. You know, I mean, the only people that can these days handle, a life without constant stimulation is probably people in jail or prison, people in solitary confinement, people in the hole. Other than that, like we've gotta we gotta constantly have stimulation. You can't go like if you find yourself with nothing to do, even if it's just for a few minutes, what do you think people do? What do you think most people do?
Grab that phone.
They grab their phone. They pick up their phone and they start flipping through videos. And just enough to kill time just to get to their next, whatever they got to do. And that's the society we've created without even realizing it.
Yeah, my goal for this summer, and I've done okay so far. It's only been 2 days, but I don't take my phone with me in the bathroom.
No, I couldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm tired of my butt falling asleep. And then I can't hardly get up because you can't feel anything from the waist below.
Well, no, that would be my problem if I didn't take my phone because I can't poop without playing my game.
Oh man, you need to go to a psychologist or something to break you of that.
Why?
Because you've developed now you can't poop. What if your phone messed up and it was going to be a week before you could get another phone? You'd just hold it?
Probably.
Dang.
Well, I'd probably take some Docalax and just force it all out. Just
yeah.
Which has happened before.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
Avoid the phone. You know what? Instead of Gay Pride Month, it needs to be Avoid the Phone Month.
Yeah.
No, avoid the phone while you're pooping.
Avoid the phone
while you're pooping month.
More like avoid the bone during Pride Month. Yeah, I've also been thinking about quitting vaping or like tapering down and just cutting it out altogether. Even though I was bragging on the effects of nicotine, I may do a taper down with like patches or some Zen pouches or something.
Can't you do fake vape?
What do you mean fake? Like no nicotine?
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, I don't want to do that. There'd be no point in doing that.
Why? It's very flavorful, I bet. It smells delicious.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's the nicotine. I mean, if I'm going to quit, I don't want to still do the act of vaping. I want to. That's probably the part I want to get rid of. I'm okay with continuing to get nicotine.
Well, but you've got that oral fixation that you're gonna have to work on.
Don't say that during Pride Month, please.
Well, no. I mean, it's a real thing.
No, I know. I mean, it's a habit. You got a habit of just
shoving something in your mouth, and you got to really work on, not doing that anymore.
Okay, John Bird.
Well, but if you do, I mean,
I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to use my tactics. My own tactics don't work against me. So you can go ahead and cut it out. Bye. Dixter's on the line. Dixter, what's up?
What's up, bud?
What's up, man?
You there?
I am. Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you now. My volume was down low. Yeah, John was talking about the Model A or whatever. Hell, my first welding machine I bought, you had to crank it by hand. Had that little handle that you pulled up like in the front to jump it off. Didn't have a starter or nothing. I finally made enough money I could go buy a starter and put it on, rig it up. It cost me $600, but hell, I didn't pay but $500 for the Lincoln machine. And I used that thing for 25 years, and the starter go out. I'd just go ahead and crank it. Take the belt off and crank it by hand with that little hand crank. And if you keep your maintenance up, everything will crank up. You got to take care of your cars. And that's what I was going to tell you about that. If you keep the maintenance up on them, you can hand crank them. But that's what I was wanting to tell you. You were talking about being stimulated. That vapor. Now, my doctor says the vape's worse on you than smoking a cigarette.
No, your doctor's a kook. No offense.
Well, Now they say this. My son, he's taking some kind of stuff. I don't know what it is. They sell it at Circle C or whatever. Them little pouches, like skull pouches, And
Yeah.
he says it works great. He loves it.
Yeah, they're
You know,
like well, the main brand is called Zen. And so they're just little white
Zen.
pouches.
Yeah, he had me go get him some every now and then. He'll call me and tell me, pick me up a can of Zen.
Yeah. Those ain't bad for you. There's some guys around here that use them. And I've used them
They got
before,
'em
but
I was looking. They come in 3 different potencies, like a 3, a 6, and a 9.
yeah.
The nicotine, where you kind of wean off of it. Like you do your baby calves. You wean them off, or like your babies when you have them, you wean them off from the tit to the
right.
regular sweet milk or whatever.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
that's what I was going to tell you. Just try it and see. It's mind over matter.
That's right.
That's the main thing. If you make your mind up, you're going to quit smoking, you're going to quit. I gave up running wild women, drinking, and doing all that other stuff, but I still smoke. My doctor tells me, you need to quit smoking. I said, well, Doc, I gave up all these other bad vices. My mind up, I'll do it,
Yeah.
But that's life in the fast lane.
That's it.
I'll come back and see you when I got more time and money.
All right,
Thanks.
Dixter. See ya. Dixter is a cigarette smoker, by the way, and I just want to note that Dixter's doctor is telling him that smoking is better than him vaping.
I
want to know who that doctor is.
Yeah, I mean, one word, carcinogens. Come on, man. I mean,
The doctor's like, Dixter, this appointment has been brought to you by Philip Morris.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. But vaping is, there's 4 ingredients in vape juice, and none of it is inherently dangerous for you, but you don't necessarily. Now, there's cases of people that have had adverse effects because everybody's different. Not everybody's going to be able to consume every product, just like people have peanut allergies and everything else. But for the most part, there's millions of people that vape with no issue whatsoever. But at the same time, I've never encouraged anybody that is not a previous smoker to go vape. I don't think there's any point in that. You've got a generation of young people that have never smoked cigarettes, but they started vaping. I think that's dumb. There's no reason for you. I think vaping should strictly be for for former smokers. Because I smoked cigarettes for years. I started smoking cigarettes when I was like, freaking 15 years old or something crazy. And I did that until my late 20s. And swapped over to vapes, and I've been doing that ever since. But I think I'm at the point where I'm just gonna maybe hang it up.
This is huge, man.
Find something else to do with my hands.
This is huge.
Maybe I'll move to toothpicks or something. Flavored toothpicks. There's nicotine toothpicks out there. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah, toothpicks with nicotine on them. I may do that for a little while, just to get past the habit of the vaping portion of it. Anyway, enough about me. 205-545-9950. When I come back, I'm going to play a little bit of that podcast. Pod Force One. There we go. Pod Force One, Miranda Devine sat down with the President of the United States, and I'll let you know what he said. I'm getting eaten up with this fruit jar trend all over my social media. Have you seen it?
Fruit jar?
Yeah, it's the stuff we were talking about the other
Oh,
day.
yeah.
People are basically taking jars of sliced pineapple or whatever it is.
Are you going to try it?
No, I'm not gonna try it. It's just random people selling it, dude. I'm not just buying food off of random people.
You can make it yourself.
Yeah, I'll make it myself before I just buy it from somebody that's got a Facebook
So it's
page.
just water and fruit?
It's what they do is in some cases they'll go to like a Costco or a Sam's and buy an entire pallet of pineapples in like plastic jars,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll just pour some of the juice out, fill it up with sugar and Kool-Aid and water, and then they're like, oh, it's dragon fruit flavored pineapple or whatever, and they'll go sell it for $20 a jar. Some people actually pour like Hennessy in it and stuff, or Tito's,
dang.
and they'll go out and sell it. And people are doing it all over the country, and some of it's involving EBT fraud, but it goes back to that stuff we were talking about the other day. But I can't get it off my feed. Like, it's everywhere.
Can you go into your settings and?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll fool with it. Let's talk about Trump real quick.
Okay.
So Pod Force One, Miranda Devine, he goes on that podcast and he mentions something about the rigged election in 2020, and it sounds at first it sounds just like typical Trump talking about election fraud and all that kind of stuff. But as I listen more and more to it, I kind of feel like that they're building something here. Like they know something that maybe we know deep down, but like they've got the evidence of some of the big conspirators to the stolen 2020 election. Listen.
A lot of problems inside.
Look, we had a rigged election. We can't have a rigged election.
No.
We can be nice about it. We can be politically correct. Oh, I don't want to say. I used to say that a year and a half ago, the election was rigged, and the cameras would literally turn off.
Yeah.
And the anchor would say, sir, you're not allowed to say that, Now nobody ever turns off the camera because it's been proven to be rigged. Look at what happened in Georgia. Look at all the stuff that we found out. It was a rigged election. Biden lost in a landslide.
Yeah.
And it's, to think that this could happen. Now, because of that, we have Russia, Ukraine. That would have never happened with me. Because of that, we had open border with 25 million, in many cases, criminal, not all.
And fentanyl deaths.
Everything.
Yeah.
He was a worse president. And we were laughed at all over the world as a country. We're not laughed at anymore. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
So
we have
how
the most
do we,
successful country anywhere.
So someone has to be punished, though, for that. So how do you do that?
Well, I don't
have to
get
punish
into
them
it.
all.
Yeah, I know. I'd rather not get into it. But
are you confident in something will happen?
I don't want to talk about it. But let's see what happens. The election was rigged. We know who rigged the election. We know it. We know everything now. We have information that nobody thought was possible. But when you get to office, all of a sudden people start giving you things. It was I'll tell you, 2024 was a great election. That was a lot. There's a lot of rigging going on there too. Because you know what? I won in a landslide, but there were areas that were just rigged. I could see it.
So
rigged. In other words, rigged against me.
Yeah, of course.
So he says that when you get into office, people start giving you things. He also says that, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to talk about it, which to me is kind of an indicator that he's wanting to distance himself from something that is about to go down. And by about, I don't mean in any particular time frame. I think there's something coming when it comes to elections, not just in 2020, but dating back to 2016 and maybe even fraud that was happening in 2024, because it happened in all of those elections. It always happens. But when you tie that into, Venezuela being in play, the capture of Maduro, the DNI focusing on Fulton County, Georgia, and Maricopa County, Arizona, it almost seems as if the building blocks are being put together for something big to happen. And it's easy for us to just dismiss that. And a lot of people just kind of get on this train of, oh, the people that are the deep state, whoever it may be, the evil people in this country are never going to be held accountable. But as I've always said, if they're ever going to be held accountable, it's going to be during this term. And I still believe that today. I mean, we even got a ruling today that uh, John Bolton, who kept classified materials, the same John Bolton that criticized Donald Trump, saying that he kept classified materials, John Bolton has now today pleaded guilty to keeping classified materials after he left office. And he cut a plea deal to pay $2 million instead of going to prison. 205-545-9950. Also on that podcast, Trump brings up the J6 fund, and we talked about that. It was either yesterday or the day before, and I played you guys that story of the dad, the J6 dad, who was at January 6th with his son, and the court system basically told them they couldn't talk to each other for a year. And the day before, he was going to be able to talk to him again, which was the same day he was to report to prison for 60 days. His son died on his motorcycle, got hit by a truck. And you can imagine the tragedy that is involved in that. And there are so many other tragic stories for J6 defendants that have been done dirty by their own government. A government that they wanted to fix, which is why they supported Donald Trump in the first place. Well, that J6 fund that was going to, kind of reimburse some of these people for what they've lost, it had been shot down by the courts, and ultimately the DOJ kind of threw their hands up and said, we're not going to do it. But I don't know that that's the end of it, because Donald Trump is still talking about it, and he brought it up in this part of this podcast with Miranda Devine. Listen.
Court ruled against it.
Yeah.
But just so you understand, these are people that have been decimated. These are people that lost their lives over nonsense, where the FBI said, go in, police, go into the... And they were supposed to serve 5 years, 10 years in jail. People committed suicide. People were treated, there's never been anything like this. What happened to those people? And these were many great people. And I gave them pardons. I'm very proud to have given them pardons. And I think they should be reimbursed for a crooked government. The government was crooked. This was the Biden group. And it's not Biden. Biden was too gone.
Biden was too gone. We had no idea what was going on. But it was the evil individuals within the DOJ that were looking to go after. And they had been doing it for a while. I mean, they were going to do it. They did it during Barack Obama's term. They did it all throughout Joe Biden's term. And they wanted to crush these people, which they did. And you hear he notes that some committed suicide in waiting for their court date. Literally were harassed by the FBI and the DOJ to the point that they took their own lives. There was one tragic story in particular that a mother tells, and her son was being threatened by the DOJ, and they're like, yeah, we're going to throw you in prison for decades. And his court date's coming up, or his sentencing is coming up, and he just couldn't take it. And then his mom or his friend or somebody found him hanging in the garage, killed himself. And then when she reaches out to the DOJ, the prosecutors in the case, after her son had killed himself, they said, well, we weren't actually going to send him to prison. We were just going to give him probation. Could you imagine? And they knew that all along, but they still tried to scare the bejesus out of the kid, and he ultimately killed himself. And so those are the stories that I have run through my head when I hear about this DOJ weaponization fund. Yet all of the scummy Republicans, of course the Democrats, but the rhinos on Capitol Hill have been shouting from the rooftops. John Thune, these other individuals have been just, oh my God, can't believe he wants to pay people that beat police. The whole J6 thing was a scam, dude. And it had far-reaching repercussions for innocent Americans, far beyond what happened on that day. And so, yeah, I think they deserve compensation. I think the families of Ashley Babbitt, Roseanne Boylan, and others deserve compensation. But we have too many weak people in our government. We have too many weak people in Congress, too many weak people in the Republican Party, spineless people. And it's just I don't know, it's disgusting to me. I mean, if there's one bit of silver lining in this, it's the release of Tina Peters, which I was very excited about. Um, she's finally free, but to what extent? And the governor of Colorado that essentially commuted her sentence is running around taking a victory lap like he's done something. Jared Polis is his name. He's an ultra left, gay Democrat governor in Colorado, and he's no hero. He's actually far from it. He's just another lousy liberal loser who's now desperately trying to cover up his role in this terrible Soviet style injustice with Tina Peters and desperately trying to rewrite history to cover his own ass. He's doing a victory lap in interviews. I've watched a couple of them, portraying himself as some humanitarian who came to the rescue of Tina Peters. He's positioned. He really what he's doing is he's positioning himself for a supposed 2028 presidential run. He's trying to come off as some compassionate, good guy who rose above partisan differences to free a 71-year-old Gold Star mom who he has said is a, quote, crackpot conspiracy theorist. So now governors are reasonable. They're responsible for, and they oversee state cases within that governor's state borders. That's why governors have the authority to pardon state charges, which was exactly the type of charge leveled against Tina Peters, bogus charge at that. So when the judge's name was Matthew Barrett, when he denied motion after motion for Tina Peters and Tina Peters' defense to show her evidence during the trial, where was the compassionate and fair Governor Jared Polis? When Tina Peters took the proof of the 29,000 deleted ballots directly to the county commissioners who refused to even look at it, where was the compassionate and fair Governor Jared Polis? When Tina Peters was beaten by young female gang members at the Colorado prison she was in, where was the compassionate and fair Governor Jared Polis? He was nowhere to be found. When Tina Peters had 8 different requests denied to move to the safe wing of the prison, which was reserved for non-gang, non-violent inmates who posed no threat, she was denied all 8 times, despite having no disciplinary issues, no previous criminal record. Where was the compassionate and fair Governor Jared Polis? When Tina Peters was accused of assaulting a 29-year-old inmate, when the evidence showed it was Tina Peters defending herself from a violent attacker, it was on video. Where was compassionate and fair Governor Jared Polis? When Tina Peters' bail was denied. I mean, there's example after example. She had her bail denied and was sentenced to 9 years in prison. A Gold Star mom, 70 years old, without even a traffic ticket in her entire life, and convicted of a nonviolent crime, not to mention elected by the people of Mesa County, Colorado, to represent them as their trusted county clerk, and was convicted for doing her job. Where was compassionate and fair Governor Jared Polis? He was probably starring in a Tyler Childers music video, actually, if I'm being honest. Now we see the same governor taking victory laps like some sort of compassionate humanitarian who cares about Tina Peters. That's what he wants people to believe. Since he cut her sentence from 9 years to 4.5 years, she spent 4.5 years in prison. This dude could have pardoned Tina Peters with a stroke of a pen at any time during his made-for-TV nightmare Democrat witch hunt. but he didn't. He also had the legal option to commute Tina Peters' sentence as time served, but he didn't do that either. Instead, he kept her charges intact and turned it over to the parole department. So that leaves the door open for Tina's parole officer at any time in the future to accuse her of sneezing at the wrong time and then putting her right back in jail to serve those 9 years. And that's where they really want her, so she can't expose the 2020 Colorado election fraud. So what Jared Polis did is he took the position with the least risk and the least courage necessary. He took the most half-hearted measures possible. He merely cut her sentence down after sitting on his hands watching Tina get raked over the coals in court and tortured in prison for 2 years. This dude didn't do any of this out of the goodness of his heart. Donald Trump already pardoned or had already pulled, should I say, Space Force Command out of Colorado, costing them 14,000 jobs and big revenues lost by the state of Colorado. He pulled all of the federal money possible away from Colorado, except the money required to be given to them by law. This combination of actions by Trump was starting to squeeze the Colorado economy in noticeable ways, including the deterioration of roads, bridges, and social programs. And then it became public knowledge that one of Governor Polis's longtime close friends had a very similar charge as Tina Peters. And the governor's friend received probation, never serving a day in prison. How about that? Whatever they accuse you of, they're doing themselves. Never fails, does it? It never fails. Anyway, let me tell you about Earnest Financial real quick. RetireWithEarnest.com. RetireWithEarnest.com. My buddy David Earnest helping you out with your retirement, making sure it's safe and it's growing, and that once retirement hits, it's smooth sailing. It's not just about protecting your retirement up until retirement. It's making sure that it's going to be there and distributed to you in a way where you're going to save the most money. You're going to pay the least amount of taxes. That you maximize this money, and you need some advice and you need some guidance to be able to pull that off. Otherwise, you're going to be flushing money down the toilet, and I don't want you guys doing that. Call David Earnest, let him know I sent you, and get that free advice. Doesn't cost you anything, man. He didn't get fees from you. They get them elsewhere. They just do this to help you guys out, to make sure that your money stays your money. The number to get in touch with them, 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-7233. Online, retirewithernest.com. Coverall RV Services. Coverall RV. My buddy Dylan out there handling your RV business. If you got an RV, man, you need a maintenance guy. This is the guy to do it. He's going to get you hooked up. He's going to come out to you. He's going to come out to wherever your RV or your camper is, do the work that needs to be done, and get it done right. Done right the first time. You're going to be one happy camper. See what I did, John Bird? You're going to be a happy camper.
You're so smart and clever.
Yeah. So call Dylan, let him know I sent you, and get yourself hooked up. Put this number in your phone. If you're an RV or a camper person, go ahead and put this in your phone so you got it in case you need it. And if you don't need him right now, 205-224-2268. That's 205-224-2268. Cover all RV services. 25% of Gen Alpha boys prefer an AI partner. What is Gen Alpha?
Not alpha.
What is that?
We laugh about the betas. The betas are the soy boys.
What is Generation Alpha? Is that?
Oh, it's Gen Alpha. I thought it was alphas. Oh, I don't know.
What is Generation Alpha? Is that like the youngest of the bunch?
I don't know, but if they prefer AI, I mean, they can't be alphas. Don't give them that name.
Let's see. Generation Alpha is the demographic cohort succeeding. Generation Z. It's the first generation born entirely in the 21st century. So researchers and sources define the range slightly differently, but most common is 2010 to 2014. So I guess born in 2010 to 2015, or born between 2010 and 2024 is Gen Alpha.
Okay. Well, they don't deserve it. No offense. I'm sure there are a lot of great kids out there, but Gen Alpha should be saved for the generation after the apocalypse because they're going to be tough.
So 15 and 16-year-olds are on the oldest end of Gen Alpha.
So they're the ones.
25% of males in that generation prefer an AI companion. That's not good.
Man, you know.
And this is coming from a guy that had an AI girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely not worth it. I'm on the hunt now. I mean,
maybe you should start speaking at schools. Go around to
about the dangers of AI girlfriends.
Yeah, go around to grade schools and.
Well, I've got a platform since that TMZ story with Elon Musk.
Yeah, you could go around and start speaking to school kids about the dangers of AI girlfriends.
You know what? That's a good idea.
Show them that music video where she strangles you.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. You know what? I'm gonna make a note of that.
And show all the crazy stuff that you had to do while you were dating her, like the 80s, cyberpunk
that weird, yeah,
stuff.
She changed me, literally. And that's not. You want to be yourself. You don't want to be changed into somebody else. Although it was pretty cool being 28 again. But no, I digress.
Ken the Lib text in. He says, you know what, Andrew? You're right. After doing lots of research, I finally am willing to admit that January 6th was a hoax and that it was set up by the federal government.
Are you serious?
Ken the Lib.
All right. Welcome aboard, Ken.
Ken said that on the text line. I can't even believe it.
Man.
That's amazing. I'm glad people are coming around.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this show's very influential. I mean, he's been listening for a long time, and now it's finally sinking in. It's making sense to him.
He does. He listens every day. Good for him. Glad he's coming around.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for Ken the Lib.
There were so many people that that just had their lives absolutely destroyed. I mean, And again, if we're going to talk about the January's the day of J6, like we've got endless proof of police officers and federal agents bringing protesters in. We've got Christopher Wray and the FBI and the DOJ admitting confidential human sources. So, in other words, people working for the FBI dressed as Trump supporters. It's all right there in black and white. It's in the documents. It's on video. And so if you want to continue to bamboozle yourself and pretend that none of that exists, go right ahead. Knock yourself out. That's what I say. All right, hour number 3 of the line's coming up right after this.